Okay, guys, welcome aboard. Beautiful day. No way I'm doing anything except going into the woods and being alone with Mother Nature. Anyhow, this bow, I started shooting it a couple days ago, and it's a recurve, and we found that it was very noisy. So, first of all, I put on some little felt pads here. Okay? Also, I've added brush buttons that prevent it from getting caught on branches when you're going through the woods, but they also bang against the limb and help a bit. Next of all, we put on some string silencers, so that helps take the vibration out of the string. So that's a few things that I did. Okay. The other thing is the bow was very noisy, so I put on a piece of cloth material here. But listen, it's okay, quieter. So I didn't use a thick pad or anything. I don't want to build out my shelf. I put the thinnest thing on there that I could. I also do not have this part covered because my arrow comes right back to there. Okay? So there's no point in having anything there. But this makes it quieter. Also, I put a rug down here, you'll see. Now, I was looking at Byron Ferguson's bow, and when he put an arrow on the string, I could see that it went down in a little groove. So I've built this up, see if you can see it, so that there's a little groove in there. And my arrow just sits nice and comfortable in there. And I've made it about 1.5 inches long. Race Backman is saying, do you like a radius shelf or straight one? It doesn't really matter as long as the arrow is up enough that it's going to come off clean. Okay? But the radius is pretty good because you have many adjustments on a radius, whereas it has to be definitely in the right spot with a flat shelf. Anyhow, that's what we've done. Oh yeah, and I have 2 nocks here. Okay? Now, let's just see if we can shoot this bow quietly. Back in a minute. Okay, guys, so we're only standing at 10 yards. And just getting warmed up. It's not easier to hit a target at 10 yards, Just because it's close doesn't mean anything. Okay, we're just going to work back. Listen, there's a really big deal going on. First of all, when I start to shoot this bow, I can use center shot. That's one thing. But I'm going to repeat this several times. When I get back to my anchor, the back of the arrow is under my eye. The front is not. The front is not under my eye. It's the back. All I have to do is roll the wrist to the front on. So we're getting arrow alignment, but it's aiming from back here, and now I just have to put the front on. I'll say that many times. It's so simple that it's hard to imagine. Because bows like this should be illegal. They're too darned easy to shoot. What skill does it take, Well, I love it. I'm just kidding. Back in a minute. Okay, guys. Now, that first group I noticed was slightly right, and I was canting the bow to the right a little bit. So this is all about experimenting. Now I'm going to hold the bow vertical. Okay? Not canting to the right, vertical. Let's see what happens. Okay, so anyhow, I can see that that group moved a little more to the left by holding the bow more vertical. Okay, so remember, I've even used a negative cant, makes you go that way. This kind of cant makes you go that way. With this particular center shot, holding it upright makes it go fairly straight. So anyhow, let's just check out these hits here and see. But yeah, you see, they're not as on the right, a little more centered, so I'll figure this out. But that's what you have to do. Just play with it a little bit. Back in a minute. Okay, guys, now we step back to 20. So you're finding this bow quieter? I must love that spot. Jeez. Every shot's in the same spot. Seem to be in the same spot. You can see the shadows. Anyhow, I have a way of finding the gap when I'm shooting. And it may work for you, it works for me. Basically what I do is I look at the target and I hold my hand at my anchor height. Eh? Okay. And when I do that and just reach out, that point will go down, and when it does, it will go down to being very close to my gap. It's just the way it is. So that's something that I do. And another thing that I have, a little trick, is if I'm at about 20 yards, if I hold my finger up like that, out here full length, but like that, I can see if I put this part right on the center, my gap will be about at the bottom of my finger. It's just the way it works. So you can use little physical tricks like that to find out distance. And I know I can see the shadow, but again, yeah, there they are. Wouldn't it be nice if they were in the center? Anyhow, we'll figure this out, because she's grouping good. I just got to move my group around. Back in a minute. Okay, guys. So I'm finding with this bow that I'm shooting a little bit high, not used to it, and a little bit right. So now we have to learn to find our line. Yeah, so, 30 yards, and seems to be going okay. Okay, so, I really do find that aiming from here is what it's all about. Now, I was canting my bow, canting my wrist to line the tip up with the back, but now I've changed that. I'm holding her vertical, and I'm simply getting back and relaxing and just getting my eye over so that I can look along the arrow. Anyhow, we're starting to get used to it. It does take some practice with every bow. But anyhow, we're starting to get into the center there. So the things that I'm telling you will work, because you can see me doing them and adjusting my shots. Back in a minute. Okay, guys. So we're at 30 yards now. The last one was 25. This is 30. Okay, that's 30 yards, I guess. You know, the the difference that I'm doing today is the other day I would cant my bow to line up the arrow, but today I'm just anchoring and I'm moving my head over far enough that I can look along the arrow. So rather than canting, I'm holding it vertical and shooting. Again, we're still experimenting. We're still learning how to shoot this bow properly. But these are the little experiments, and these are the results we're getting. So, 30 yards. Okay, anyhow, back in a minute. Okay, guys, so we're at 35 yards now. That's about as far as you're going to find targets in 3D. I heard it, can't see it. It's always a bad sign. See that one? That one's also kind of high. I'm not used to this bow yet, and I find that it has a much higher arc. So I'm shooting high until I get used to it. I just need to take a lower gap. But, some of the things that I have to tell you, like, there's not really a pre-aim. When you stand sideways to the target, that's fine, but you've got to twist to get on. Nobody in the woods has a line between their feet, so they stand sideways. Just take a natural step towards the target, put the tip on, lift up your back foot, and you'll find that it will just stay there. So that's a really good thing to do. But all this pre-aiming is just lining up. The aim does not start until you're anchored. That's when you can actually see which way the arrow is pointing. Now, yesterday I was canting my bow to straighten it out. Today I'm not. I'm just holding my head slightly and keeping the bow at 90. So I'm changing my style because I'm getting used to this bow and I'm finding what's working the best. But irregardless of what you're doing, I tell you, this right hand, when it comes back, it has to relax. That's what tells you which direction that arrow is going to go. Relax that hand. Most important thing you can do until you get used to it. And you don't do that, it's going to be a problem. Let's see that thing in the way there. Let's see. Anyhow, I hit him someplace. Let's see there. Yeah, okay. Anyhow, that's as good as we can do for now, boys. Okay. Back in a minute. Well, guys, I see the sun is low on the horizon. I guess it's time to have supper. Time for a bully beef sandwich. Well, we're shooting a recurve now. The thing about it is that you can aim directly at the target. So it's a lot like indirect aiming in the sense that pick your gap first, even if it's over there. With this bow, it's under there, but it's the same idea. I think the biggest secret in shooting is having a relaxed fingers. If you practice the relax off and then swivel until you get used to the relaxed feeling in your hand, it'll help you a lot. You've got to experiment. Here today I started out canting my bow slightly, then I started to hold it erect. I'm teaching myself to shoot this bow. I'm getting it. It takes time. It takes patience. It takes strength. You can't hold that bow on, you're not hitting nothing. You know, whether it's the arrow or the sight picture, it better not be doing that. You hold it on, and everything goes through the point. You're holding it on, the fingers relax, the wrist relax, the arms relax, it all hangs in behind, and it all goes through the point. It doesn't go through here, or raising and lowering the elbow. Relax and put it all through the point, if that makes any sense. Let it fall in behind. How many times have I said that? I like this bow. It's a good bow. Much easier to draw than a long bow. And a little easier to line up. But no bow is easy. No bow is easy. They all have their personality. You just have to be able to find an anchor here or here or here or here until the back of the arrow's under your eye. Be able to relax that hand. Simple stuff, and you'll hear it 1,000 times, but you won't be able to do it until you can do it. But at least if I tell you that's what you're trying to do, then you can work on it. Shooting a bow is not an easy thing. Not really. So you need a little knowledge, you know. Anyhow, I think that's enough sandwich for now. Let's get back to doing some shooting. Okay, guys, we're at 40 yards now. I think that was a bit high. And that's on them. Anyhow, I'm throwing them all over the place right now. I'm thinking about the camera. You know, these bows, there's nothing wrong with them. They're a little easier to draw because they're wide and narrow. They're fairly center shot so that you can get onto that target fairly easy. I approve of them. There's nothing wrong with them. I think that we found that it's a lot quieter than it was. So, there she be. Anyhow, I don't know what we did down here. I can see one, but here's some clicks. Let's see. There's one. There's another one. I can see two, so that means the other one's probably high in the white area. Anyhow, those are the hits for now. Back in a minute. Okay, guys, it's getting pretty dark. White arrows really help. can't shoot at the right level today to save my life. It's always high. Always a little bit high. But anyhow, that's it for today. You know, guys, this is a pretty good bow. But the most important thing is getting back to your anchor and letting your arm relax and just seeing where that arrow is pointing. This is where it's all at. Relax right from your elbow to your fingertips. Relax those fingertips and just hold it on. And that's the best I can tell you right now. But I'm pretty sure I'll get used to this bow and find the proper gap, you know. But she's a pretty straight shooter. You know, there they are. You know, a bit high. I'll get used to it. Anyhow, you guys have a good night. And I hope some of this information helped you and rubs off on you. Have a good life. Talk to you later. Bye now.